Call to order. To the flag. of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, good evening, everybody. Can we have Alan come in? Thank you. You're not Alan.
It's a hot bench.
Hey, Alan, thank you
All right,
for coming in.
Dressed appropriately. I didn't know it was coming in tonight. Apologies.
Oh, you're dressed. We have a request for abatement for 49 Bonnie Mill Road.
So Miss Montero has brought this matter to my attention a couple of times, where she felt since she purchased the property back in 2018, that something had been off as far as the collection of her taxes. Going back over the parcel history report with Miss Montero, the only thing that I could see that was questionable was that two payments were made for the 2018 PO2. One was by a mortgage company and the second was by Miss Montero herself. So in trying to dig into this, the most that I can come up with is more likely than not that the two payments were made in 2018 as far as the PO2. And working with Caitlin, what we were able to see too is that the 2018 PO2, and I don't know why this is, had two different invoice numbers for that same bill. So we have a special warrant for Stacy, and then there's the normal invoice number for the bank that paid it.
Double payment,
It looks like a double payment, correct?
one by her, one by the bank and the.
Correct. And there was also an issue, correct. So there was also an issue where she wasn't receiving her bills initially. So that kind of,
So we're talking about $1,729. So
correct.
how are you gonna address that?
I'd like that to apply that to her current bill, if that's possible.
Is that June? Current bill,
Current bill for appeal 1 of 24.
This PO2 is for the laymen that are out there. That's second half bill, correct?
Correct. November bill.
you need to make a motion on that.
We're gonna make a motion for the abatement in the amount of,
1,007.
make a motion to approve the abatement in request amount of $1,729. And apply that. In taxes, on taxes.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Simmons, aye.
Proceed.
Thank you,
Can you
gentlemen.
let her know, please?
I absolutely will. Thank you so much for your time.
We also had a application for voluntary change of address for High Watch or Baymark Health Services. For JT, you an issue?
No issues. We're changing all the addressing of the Green Mountain Treatment Center. Essentially each building is gonna have its own street address and there will be some streets added. So the whole campus won't be 244 High Watts Road anymore. It will be split up. That'll help us with fire, police and ambulance responses up there, knowing which building we're going to.
So if a 911 call comes in, how will it come in? If they have to be in a building, will it show that building number?
Yep. So if they call from a landline, the landline phones will be updated so that they'll show whichever address they belong to. If they're calling from a cell phone, unfortunately, it's gonna be up to the staff member calling to say the right building, but there is gonna be signage and education on their side, so hopefully that'll go smooth.
Make a motion to approve the manifest dated July 18, 2024 for the amount of $27,612.66.
Chuck seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
You get the second one.
All right.
Manifest dated July 25th, 2024, in the amount of $23,564.58.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen minutes dated July 9th, 2024, except for one exception.
I would like to make an amendment and scratch off on the third page, top of the third page, under selectmen's comments, it says. Selectman Seaman stated the wire left on the side of the road and inadvertently it was typed in from the transfer station container has been picked up. And Chief Harmon said he made a call, which that is true. I just want to strike from this transfer station. It was picked up from the side of the road. So with that redaction, I make a motion to accept the minutes with that correction.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mail.
We need to-
That's it. From a mail standpoint, Eversource has put in for requests to increase the rates. Didn't give I didn't see where. Backside, okay. So. They're looking at 9.62. Ouch. Glad I got solar. I mean, it's a combination between residential delivery service, so that pretty much affects everybody. But I think the government,
General mailing everyone of the bill.
but it's gotta go through the legislation first for approval. So we'll see. Board of Selectmen reports, which one I want to go first?
Go ahead, Chuck.
I worked basically, and doing some edits for an RFP, which we're going to talk about for the library roof in a work session on Thursday. And I spent the bulk of the last week, pretty much every day, for a few hours each day on the reconciliation process for the phase 1 of the town hall project. Getting ready to get the information straightened away for the auditor. Carol Pfister and Chairman Dave Strauss, the Budget Committee, have been helping me with that. Make sure we didn't miss anything, and I should be in a position with one last bit of information that Caitlin's gonna be getting me with Michelle. This week I should have that ready to go. We'll review it and then we'll send it over to the town auditor.
You haven't adjusted anything yet on that, right?
No. The auditor's gonna have to tell us how to make those adjustments for the 2020 LTIP grant. That's it. Reconciliation, but that's not quite a bit of time.
Right, so-
Take it light.
Chris?
Not off me, unless I come up with something like I always do. Some cold patching got done on Pine River Road yesterday. The ditching and drainage issues on Old Pound Road have been addressed. And I think it came out fantastic. It should alleviate. I'm not gonna say any future washing because of the way the storms have been coming, but it'll definitely help. There's just one thing needs to be done, if you gentlemen agree, and that's to possibly take 3 pieces of the granite that are at the transfer station that the town owns and use them as header rocks to further control potential future erosion on Old Town Road. To the 2 culverts in particular.
That's what they're there for.
Everybody.
Um,
You still have a ditching? Is there a possibility we probably can get some ditching done? What's the name of the road? First.
Champion Road.
Champion Road, on the left hand side. I can see where it's washing out right to the pavement. I wonder if we can kind of ditch that out a little bit.
We may. Pick up more water for down below if we do that, that's the whole thing.
Versus let it run down the road. So,
And there's still some areas that we all addressed and agreed to have addressed on Townhouse Road.
Okay.
That Mike was gonna tackle.
Okay.
Um. There's the area just on Moody Road above Bob Strauss's, where that erosion stone's a little higher. And then again by the Wilson Brook, where it's a little higher.
I also noticed on camping on the Hill Road where on the right hand side. Where they made it sort of like a slough into the. it's
Into
kind
the
of
culvert,
plugged.
that needs to be cleaned out. So I talked to you about that once upon a time to see if maybe the gentleman. Cause you try to get in there, my fear is try to get in there with an excavator bucket. And it may damage that paved swale.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure that's the best avenue. It may take some handwork. And a piece of equipment and shovel it into the bucket and then carry it off. We'll talk to the contractor. We have a meeting Friday. And excuse me, Thursday. So maybe we can address that then. Just get that cleaned up for the winter,
Yeah.
before winter,
I mean,
for sure. It'll make it easier because a couple of times last year I cleaned it out myself. Right now it's the sand and the silt that gets carried down. But if that's all cleaned out, come fall when the leaves fall off the trees, I can run up and down that with the backpack floor and clean it out a lot easier than I could right now, so.
Okay.
That way to prevent the ice dams, because we've had a history of ice getting out on the road before, so if we can get it addressed before then, so. Well, as long as I remember, and maybe by saying it out loud, you guys will help me remember to bring that up on Thursday, so.
not a problem.
To address that. And I believe in the work session, the sand pile that I addressed at the last selectmen's meeting on Bailey Road Bridge, that's been cleaned up. And I tried to reach out to that gentleman to let him know. I don't know if High Watch Road got patched. The cross culvert that they replaced, do we wanna have that paved in, whole patched in? Yes,
I haven't drove up there. I mean, it's.
With the volume, I think it goes up and down.
I mean, it's, if you leave it gravel, it is gonna get beat up, and you're gonna constantly have to babysit it.
You just go to call back time.
Well, whatever the contractor thinks best, but again, talk to Ron about that and see, you know, but he just needs us to direct him to what we would like, and we can do that again on Thursday.
Okay.
And the water line, it probably won't be for a month, but you never know. They're signing a contract. I talked to a representative from Dawson's Excavating. They're changing that water line on Pine River Road. They're gonna give me 24 hours notice, so I can let you guys know, as well. That is gonna affect Pine River Road. They're gonna have to cut the pavement from Pine River Road to change that water line. To the two residents in Effingham that are on Ospey's water system. So,
I thought they were going underneath it.
no, boring is way more expensive than cutting the road.
They're gonna repave it.
Yes. Yeah. Unless. It's not pavement. But. I think that would be, that's. A tall ask, so. That's all I have. For now.
Thanks, Chris. I'm short, I have short stuff, I did pick up that 55-gallon drum at the end of Sims Road. It was empty. Nothing in it. So I think it was used for a raft or something like that, so I dropped it off this morning out at the transfer station. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. Right,
Two answers, question on signs.
yeah, go ahead.
So our two signs on townhouse with the curve.
Yes.
On the curve.
Yeah,
I was asked by a couple of people, can we get these on posts?
yeah, before we do the tall posts, I gotta drill, yeah. I'm gonna drill new holes.
Okay. Get some
And
good laughs, so people appreciate it, got some good laughs out of it, but they did that.
yeah, when I mean, I had the signs out there, it's because the driver and the bolts and I think I said that in the work session, so I tried to do breakaway with the stub and we didn't have enough bolts. So I have the sign order, and to get to Caitlin, to get to our vendor to order signs. And we need to get bolts. I don't have access to the credit card. I'm sure I could, with you guys' permission, buy the stuff and then just put in split, but I just wanna talk to you guys first.
Yeah,
get some bids.
I don't know.
So then I do the stubs and then do the full sign, but what I wanna do with those two signs is I have to drill new holes, because trust me, several people have asked me, you know. What was wrong with me, why put the signs like that, cause that's the way the bolt pattern was. So I actually have to drill holes and put them on a more of a diamond angle, so they make better sense, but in the time being, I had them. And be 100% honest, and I wish he was here right now, but Steve Regal's voice was ringing in my head about that curve, so I said, well, I'll get him up there now, and it's absolutely better than nothing, so.
And people have noticed it, which is the important part.
So,
Caitlin,
I'm pretty short too, as I said, I'll have 2 trainings in August. One on the 15th, which Michelle and I will both be taking, so our office will be closed, we're gonna be going to Gorham. And then the next one will be here, it's actually a navigating taxi through NHMA, that's only an hour, so I'll be in for that. Then I also received a notice of property redemption from a deeded property we have, I'll be working on that tomorrow and Thursday for a total.
can I take one question?
no, please.
When we got the flyer for, and the banner for household hazardous waste, did the location get named? Of where it's gonna be, because the last I heard, it was still up in the air.
When I went and picked up the banner. I didn't ask the question.
So the town, through the town of Ospey, the public works director got word this week or last week. It's gonna be in Moultonborough, so,
July 27th. I read something today that came across on the internet.
so. I'm hoping that my fear doesn't come true. That now, because at that time it was, they were trying to get a host site at Tamworth. My concern was the last time I was at Tamworth, only 7 people went, and the amount of money that was budgeted or was asked, requested. And we left it to the voters, and the voters said they still wanted to participate. So I respect that. My fear is now it's gonna be even further away. So what's that gonna do to the participation? And the fact that they take, I'm gonna say 30% less. Now than they ever did before. So just something we're gonna have to watch close, but it is, and Moultonborough is the whole site.
And that's July 27th or August.
July 27th.
It's this weekend?
That's this weekend.
Is it this Saturday?
Yes. It's BS. Wow,
I thought it was August too.
I thought they still had an option of Tamworth, but the location was to be determined. No?
They were hoping to get, when I read that letter, they were hoping, but it wasn't locked in.
Okay.
And
I can find the email I got today and send it to Caitlin. Something about it.
oh, yeah, definitely, but I mean, it's kind of short notice, since you just got the email today and they're scheduling in 4 days.
Because the sites of Plymouth, Moultonborough, and Tuftonboro, and we're not entitled to go to Tuftonboro.
I got an email today. I don't know what previous has gone out there. I just happened to see this one today, so I don't know what previous communication has gone out.
Yes, Dave.
The transfer station handed out flyers last Saturday.
They did.
Yeah.
And it
I-
said,
The one thing?
I
took
think
copies.
Buckingham was one of them. But it had all the sites and the times and everything
Did
required.
you print those?
I took copies and I handed them to Mark Wednesday.
You have an extra copy?
Check.
And you received that from?
Lakes Region.
It was from Lakes Region, yeah. Where's the grab it?
Copy, settle this argument.
I know one of the sites is, the sites of, like I said, Plymouth, Moultonborough, and Tuftonboro, but we're not in that sector, so we're supposedly not allowed to go to Tuftonboro.
We'll find out.
Hopefully that's not true. Hopefully we can go to Tuftonboro.
I could go to Merrimack. Get something.
You have to go to Merrimack.
Just south of 6, I don't know. Merrimack.
Oh, let's say Merrimack, that's not even in Lakes Region.
Um, It's, July 22nd, July 27th, August 3rd, September 28th. Where's this?
There might be more dates on the back.
Oh, new collection days.
Yeah.
The 28th. Belmont, Guilford,
August 3rd, Marlboro.
Baltimore, Laconia. With families to be determined by September 28th. So they got 4 sites, 5 sites. Quite a few sites.
See. I don't see anything without those. Yeah, I don't see Tuckamore on there at all.
Yeah.
So August 3rd is Marlboro, correct, and I believe that's what our,
Well, we could go anywhere.
well, you can, if you have a time machine, you could go to that one. What's
Where in
the-
Marlboro is it, Chris?
At the highway garage, 68 Highway Garage Road,
The safety building? No, it's the one that.
that's if you go down the Neck Road and take your first left.
Yep.
Off of Marlboro Neck.
I could be in the house.
What are the times for that?
That's on there, it's on
Right on the time, I think it's 8:30 to 12. Or 8 to
July 27th. August 3rd.
8:30 to 12. Got a call?
That was August 3rd for the Marlboro?
Yes,
Yes. Second. Business, you got it. Yes.
So I provided the board with a multitude of things, and it's to discuss the ongoing issues that we've had with our, what would be our newest cruiser, it's a 2022 Ford Explorer. And I just provided them with some service invoices. The first one was starting in May of 23, when the vehicle only had 8,700 miles on it. That started where the car just sheared off the whole windshield wiper transmission for no reason, which was fixed under warranty. And as it's progressed in our patrol service, it's just, things have started to go worse and worse. At 27,000 miles, the rear active bolt fractured and sheared off. Well, Sergeant Baker was driving it, causing him to have to stop abruptly on the side of the road and be towed off the side of the road. And the vehicle was down for 5 days then. And the first one I spoke about, it was down for 15 days. And since then, we've had even more problems with it, from electrical issues to recently over the weekend. The engine decided to just spit all the oil out of it while Sergeant Baker was on his way into town from his house. Was spitting it out from around the oil filter, and it drained the entire engine of oil, which caused him having to park it again over the weekend. It's going into the shop tomorrow to figure out exactly what went wrong with it. But just the total cost since, and the vehicle's been out of warranty since 36,000 miles, and the car now has 44,000 miles.
36,000 miles was reached when?
A couple months ago. Yeah, it was just a couple months ago.
May.
I would say May. And since then, we've put around $3,500 into this car, with between tires and vehicle maintenance. We put a brand new set of tires on it, and for whatever reason, the alignment was so far out of whack that all tires basically went bald. It went back to Ford, they fixed it, and their comments were they'd never seen an alignment so bad and didn't know what went wrong. Which it just seems to be the saga with the vehicle. Things keep happening and we don't know why. And it's becoming our most expensive vehicle to keep on the road, being our newest, which I don't believe is cost effective to the town or the taxpayers. So I reached out to McFarland Ford, who is the state bid Ford contractor for this year. And speaking with him, he offered us a trade-in value for the vehicle of $16,000 towards a new purchase of a 2024 Cruiser. So with the trade-in value of 16,000 coming off the bottom line of what a cost of a new Cruiser would be at $47,165. With the trade-in value and the state bid discount, we would be able to trade in the 2022 for $28,565. And that being said, everything that's in our 2022 Ford Explorer is a complete transfer over to a 2024, being the lighting, the radio, the computer mount, the radar, everything. So it wouldn't cost anything wouldn't cost anything new to upfit. It would just be the price of having one decommissioned and then recommissioning another one. Which I have a very broad quote from Two-Way Communications of no more than $6,000.
On top of the 20.
Correct, so the total, if we were to do this, would be $34,565. Would be the total cost, and that they said that 6,000's on the steeper end. I spoke with the president of Nevo or Two-Way Communications on the phone, and he's gonna provide me an actual quote. I just didn't have it at the time of the meeting. But I would like to consider doing something sooner than later before the vehicle starts to cost the town more money and being off the road for longer. And just off a couple of the invoices I've looked at, the vehicle's been off the road for over a month so far since we've had it in the 2 years we've had it. It's our least mechanically reliable vehicle. Our other two vehicles are in good working order and we haven't had any issues with them. So I'm trying to play damage control without having spend a ton of money in fixing a car that's not going to be reliable for us. And exploring the option of doing the purchase of one this year. And in the expendable trust fund with the money that was granted at town meeting this year, we would have, I believe it was $38,478 in that. And I would ask that if we could do the purchase of the vehicle, that the 28,000 from the state bid come out of the ETF, and the outfit would come out of my operating budget.
So you're in line for a new cruiser next year,
Next year, correct?
so we're not gonna go that route.
Correct.
If we go this route.
Yeah. We'll be able to make the vehicles that we have go until we're able to do it again, whenever that would fall. As far as that rotation.
So it's gonna reduce your budget, the capital budget to what again?
So
Taking the money out of the,
if we take
take the 28,000.
We'd only have 10,000, roughly $10,000 left in the ETF.
correct. And that would be for just the trade-in of the Cruiser, and then the 6,000, I would be able to take out of my operating budget to have the vehicles switched around.
Last year we put what, 15 in there?
Yes,
So this is, what do we have now?
yes, which Ford has stopped making because of issues. They've discontinued all their hybrid models because of ongoing problems with them. So the vehicle that I presented to you for the 28,000 is a normal just gas engine, no hybrids, anything like that.
Well, they're not even making them.
Correct, so. I know on the picture that was on the quote, it says hybrid on the side of the vehicle, please ignore that, it's just a stock picture. It's not an
So
actual,
we would look, that would only give you year after 35,000, so next year we probably would have to make it. Put into your budget at least 25,000, so we can.
Well, we would normally put 15 in anyway.
Right, no,
And if we have excess funds left over a year, then we could always allocate. Let's say it was 13 grand or 14 grand, we could take 13, 14 grand out of the excess and allocate that in, so we would be normal funding.
or we can do it in budget season and just add it in like we did with the fire trucks. Fire equipment,
We could do that too.
that's what I was going with. Make it noted that budget season, we should look at this,
Mhm.
if we have access.
And obviously, none of us expected this to happen with a 2-year-old vehicle, but with only 44,000 miles on the car and as much money that we're starting to put into it now that it's out of warranty and how much it's coming off the road. I don't foresee the future getting any better. I mean, obviously, we can't predict the future, but I'd rather not take the chance than hoping that, oh, it'll just get better, because we've been hoping that since the first issue happened with 8,000 miles, and it hasn't changed. It just seems to be a reoccurring issue.
Chief, this last page of this packet that has the maintenance that's been done on it.
Yes, that was.
Just another quote.
So that was, I provided that to you as well. That's the original cost of the vehicle when we purchased it from McGovern MHQ.
Okay.
So that was what the vehicle cost before. But prior to upfitting, when we purchased it in 2022.
So obviously, I know that this is probably the least expensive route to go.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, but for conversation purposes. I like the fact that you addressed. That's not a hybrid, the 24 isn't a hybrid, but some of the other issues with this car had nothing to do with the engine. They had to do with the suspension and the drivetrain.
Mhm.
Nobody has a crystal ball, but for the best of your knowledge, knowing the cruisers that are out there, have they corrected those issues too?
To the best of my knowledge, yes. And speaking with departments that are running the new, or the engines that are just the straight gas, not the hybrids, have not had any issues. Osby runs one. Wakefield PD's entire fleet is Ford Explorers, and they have had no major issues whatsoever.
And they're all gas.
Those are all gas. I had spoken with a person from Ford, and I can't tell you who it was, but when he heard that we had 2 hybrids, he said, how much have they been off the road? Because that's all they hear about is how much these hybrids are causing problems. And I said, well, we have one that doesn't cause us any issues and one that's causing us all these issues.
What's going
What
years ago?
The 2020, which is the car that I am in, is also a hybrid, which has not had many problems, knock on wood. Yeah. So it's just being the newest vehicle and us coming into all these major problems so early on. I can't imagine what's gonna happen after another couple years of patrol work. I'd rather play damage control and have a reliable vehicle for my officers to be in for their safety.
Another question, what's the cost gonna be to fix this?
Unknown, at this point, it's unknown. It's going into the shop tomorrow. That's the soonest that we can get it in. If it's a major problem, I'll obviously be able to let the board know. If it's a simple.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanna wait until I have a final cost before I make a decision.
I do still have money in my.
Looking at the history that this vehicle already has on it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I have no problem getting rid of the car. I just want to see what it's gonna cost us $10,000. Then we got a problem, so I'd rather see what, how long it's gonna take to get this.
Should know by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
We can make a decision.
In the meantime, you're using the old cruiser.
Yeah, the 2017, which is right now. Sergeant Baker was in since Thursday.
So
Friday
night is when it all occurred. I swapped into it Saturday.
So it's been sitting since.
But it also, we just got a recall the end of last week too for the power control module, which is the main. For the power control module, which is the main computer, whole head unit for the car. Is having issues. So, and when the oil all drained out, it immediately tripped check engine light codes. For camshaft sensors and everything, which typically if the oil gets that low. We've already reached bad issues and it's tripping that code. So it's really just a matter of get it in, see what the damage is.
Is it around the oil filter?
In that area. Not sure if it's a faulty filter, if the filter came loose, you can't really see the filter from the top or the bottom unless you get it on a lift and take all the plastic from underneath out. So once we do that, we'll be able to tell exactly where the leak came from. And then kind of go from there, but
Well, if you're gonna have it within 24 hours, I think it's better wait.
I'll have it by tomorrow afternoon. For sure, whether it's gonna be a.
Yeah, I
simple
agree. I
fix
mean,
or-
obviously you guys need the car to do your job effectively. The longer you're in the spare, that's added expense for. That in mileage on the spare car, because it's not like your car can be. You know, shipped back and forth between anybody that's still part-time and things like that. We still have part-time people that are working occasionally, so they would have to. Coordinate with you and get the car, and that's added mileage.
What we did this weekend.
So
that's also an expense that has to be considered.
So what's the turnaround time if we approve,
Uh,
we let us start Thursday in the meeting?
McFarland has one on the lot ready to go, and MHQ said that they can do this as soon as possible, which I'm not exactly sure what that means, or not MHQ, I'm sorry, two-way communications. It would just be a fact of getting a car stripped, and as soon as it's stripped, we can take it from Portsmouth to Exeter. And just swap them and drive the other one from Exeter back to Portsmouth and drop it. So,
So you're looking at a 2 week period or something, like that.
roughly,
And then that's not including or including fixing the old.
so yeah, the 2022, yeah.
Are they aware that it's,
So I told him that we've had some ongoing issues with it, and he said that $16,000 is subject to seeing it, but he said as long as it's in good working order, it shouldn't be an issue.
so a good working order means regardless, we have to fix it? The oil leak problem.
Dave,
Just because of budget considerations, I can just ask a couple of questions. Tyler, what's the old car mileage?
The 17,
Yeah.
it's 100, or go ahead,
108,000 and change right now.
okay, so less than what I thought. it
That's a
was.
17,
Yes, sir.
and the one after that, the one in between,
The 2020 is where I'm at 80, I believe I'm at 81,
roughly 81.
yes.
So that means if you do what you're talking about, you're gonna end up with 10 grand in the trust fund. You won't be replacing your oldest car for at least 2 years.
Correct.
And then 3 years for the 2020. Do you see those making it?
As of
That-
right now, As of right now, yes, there's no major mechanical problems with either one. Obviously, the 17's not being driven every day. It's being driven twice a week right now. Which is on Tuesdays and Saturdays when the part-time officers work. So if that stays to be the trend, there's not gonna be tons of mileage going on it. And on average shift, we're putting on maybe 100 miles trolling, maybe a little bit more. So if you wanna say 150 on average, it's about 300 a week.
it's like 15 down a year.
And that's if. The part-time officers work consistently every week without taking a week off, and that's also dependent on if we have to run it too.
We don't know what we're gonna have for excess funds yet.
Well, I understand that. I mean, we had a lot last year, so it's very, we should keep it in consideration.
Oh, yeah, if it's there, we're definitely gonna use it. I agree. Why wouldn't we?
I'm just trying to. Do the most cost-effective option for the town and the taxpayers.
The worst case would be in 2 years, that goes away to 17, we don't have the money. You're down to 2 cruisers.
Right. Which. From the
But you
stand,
can, but I get interrupted real quick, you can speed up that. Decay, I'm gonna say, for lack of a better word, of the 17 by utilizing it more with this being down. So you have this one being down, so life expectancy is not very good for the 22. And you're decreasing the life expectancy of the 17. Whereas the sooner we could get this, yes, it affects our budget now and when we can repurchase a car. But we're only in need of 1 right now, not 2.
correct. And. I know that coming up, one of our part-time officers is taking a few weeks off for vacation, so it's gonna be off the road a little bit less than what it normally would be. But it's gonna be offset obviously with him in it, so it's. Between a rock and a hard place, but I feel that this is the best option. As far as reliability of our cruisers and. saving the most amount of money. Because if we keep on track with what we're doing, there's no knowing what we're gonna end up having to put into this next year, the year after, or even the year after that.
So I asked some questions later because I get your point, is let's see how much this is gonna cost, but we need to fix it to get rid of it anyway. So our hope is that it doesn't cost thousands and thousands of dollars that's gonna impact that budget and it prevent us from doing this. But sometimes you have to spend good money to or spend bad money and say good.
So we have a meeting at Thursday.
11 o'clock?
You bring
So
the
we
numbers
can-
there.
Yeah, bring numbers in, we can do the first 10 minutes. And I guess it's a work session, so we can make a vote on it.
We tried to have the numbers for you tonight, but Wednesday was the absolute soonest that we could get it in.
The car's in, right, or is this?
It's sitting at station 1 inside.
Oh, still there?
It's still there, yeah, we're gonna deal with that tomorrow.
And you'll have, okay. cool.
Yeah, so tomorrow afternoon, I would actually, if you want, I can let you know how much it's gonna be.
Yeah,
And
just,
I can bring the physical numbers Thursday, and we can talk about this then as well.
send you that.
Yeah, I can send you guys all an email tomorrow when I know.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Announcements, Kane's already covered that, Boris Selectman's office will be closed August 15th to do the training. Public comments. None. I'm gonna go into non-public. Non-public, for RSA 91-A:3, 2, a personnel. Thank you, everybody.
Siemens second,
Have a-
Fuller eye.
Siemens aye.
I